Hello, my name is Paz. I'm a respiratory therapist at night and a wardrobe stylist and a fashion creative during the day. Turns out, I'm not the only one in the medical field who pursues their passion. In celebration of Respiratory Care Week, I'll be talking to my incredible colleagues who are healthcare heroes and also artists and entrepreneurs in their own right. This is my Peeps. Paz has been a registered respiratory therapist for over 10 years and has worked at 4 different hospitals throughout his career. Currently, Ples works at Children's Hospital Los Angeles and San Antonio Regional Hospital. His credentials include Acute Critical Care Specialist, Neonatal Pediatric Specialist, BLS, ACLS, PALS, NRP, and a stable certification. In his free time, he likes to DJ, do photography, make hot sauce called Mr. Molotov, ride motorcycles, and play with his 2 huskies. He also volunteers for several children's charities for cancer and cystic fibrosis. He plans on being a bedside RT for a very long time and continuing his passion in the cardiothoracic ICU. Welcome to the very first episode of My Peeps. I'm so excited. Happy Respiratory Care Week to everyone out there, to our fun-loving healthcare heroes who are working front line, especially during the pandemic. My very first guest is my colleague. We both work at Children's Hospital, and his name is Ples. So, yay, welcome.
Thank you. I didn't know I was the first one.
Yes, you
No
are.
pressure.
You are.
No pressure.
Yeah, well, I want to start it with like a bang, and I know instead of jack of all trades, I know it's Ples of all trades. So, yeah. So, let me ask you something. How did you discover being like the career as a respiratory therapist, and what made you decide to become an RT?
It's kind of a weird story. I think I
Love
was,
reading stories. I just think, yeah, I'm
'cause,
open.
as you know, probably a lot of people haven't really like heard of the profession. They're like, oh, you're either a nurse, doctor, phlebotomist, or X-ray tech.
Right.
So my mom had to go into the hospital for like a checkup or something, and then I noticed. I think I was 17 at the time. I noticed someone kept coming into the room, just like listening to her, and I was like, who is this person? Because I know you're not a nurse. You're not doing enough. So eventually I asked, and she was like, oh, I'm just a respiratory therapist now. So then my dad kind of explained it to me, and it turns out he was actually an RT like 35 years ago or whatever.
Oh, wow.
Before he became a doctor. So I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. Then I kind of looked into it, and just seemed like a good fit. I've always wanted to do something in the medical profession. Like I liked science, math, and stuff like that. So it was that or be a veterinarian, but it's a lot harder to get into those schools. So I took it.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm glad that you chose the respiratory therapy, or else we won't be, meeting, and we won't be doing this interview. Tell me more about, you being a cardiothoracic therapist. Core.
Yeah.
What differentiates you being a core RT and just working in that floor, in that unit, compared to all the therapies that come and go in the unit?
Yeah, so I've been a therapist for over 10 and a half years now. I've been at several hospitals. I've been at Beverly, started at Children's, left, went to Kaiser, and then came back to Children's because I like Children's so much. And then I just kind of realized like where I wanted to fit in with what kind of work we were doing. So I've done a little bit of everything: ER, ICU, floor care, managerial, NICU. And then when I went back to Children's again, I was like, whoa, this whole cardiac ICU stuff's pretty interesting, because they just treat stuff way different. They move very fast paced. They give us a lot of autonomy to do stuff and make changes. And I really like that kind of trust and like bond like family. So I pursued that, and I guess I was a fit. I don't know, they took me, so now they're stuck with me.
Yeah, well, they seem that they really love you there, and everyone really likes you there. You're the one that initiates the potlucks, and they even awarded you a mini gem award. So yeah, that's really amazing. You're really doing a a good work there, not only as a therapist, but also, as a person and as an employee. So take me back in a situation where you had like a moment as a therapist that, you were just put in a situation that was like pretty tough, that was pretty hard, and you were able to solve and overcome that situation.
This was a tough one. Once I started.
Yeah, but I mean, we have those days that you're like, oh my God, this is like one of the worst days of my life. But in the end, like you were able to pull it off and you realize that, yes, I'm a respiratory therapist. I did this. I can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go with two stories if that's okay.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
One was like a tough medical decision, and then one was like a hitting different kind of ethical situation. So
okay.
Back in my first job, they let us do all the intubations and stuff, so it was a protocol. Pretty much you only call the doctor when you just needed orders put in. So I got called up to the floors. It was this old, like 80-year-old lady, and she wasn't looking good. She was already agonal gasping, and I knew she was going to die pretty soon. So I was like, all right, we're going to have to, if she's a full code, I'm going to have to intubate her. Her grandson was there. He was probably 18, 19, 20. So I kind of explained everything to him. I'm like, hey, man, she's pretty sick. I'm going to have to put her on a breathing machine. And, she's got a lot of stuff going on. She might not come off. So I was trying to be real with them because, once you get to a certain age, you got to think of quality of life over just trying to do everything for the person,
Right.
So I kind of explained it to him, and he was just really nervous. He's like, I can't make that decision. Please just do everything. So I was like, all right, cool. No problem at all. So intubated her, she was fine. She didn't, we didn't lose her heart rate or anything. Took her to the ICU, had her on really low settings. And it turned out she blew like a double pneumo and got the worst sub-Q I've ever seen in my life. Air was literally under every pocket of her skin. She looked like she had gained 300 pounds of air. She was already like 80 pounds, like a little stick, and she was like a puffer fish, and I just felt so bad. And I knew it. I was trying to tell him like it's not going to be good, but I didn't realize like her organs were that weak. And she didn't last maybe more than 2 days, I think, after that. But that was a tough one because if they want you to do everything, you got to do everything in your power to keep her alive until something happens. So it's a tough call for me, but
that's literally like one of our jobs, like as a healthcare worker, like we have these people's lives at risk, but it's also, A, do you want to do this? And this is the consequence, or B, like you want to do this decision, but this is the other consequence. So yeah, thanks for sharing that story. So what about the other one?
The other one was at Children's. I don't know. It was kind of like a cool story. It was a sad
story.
Was
I there? No, just kidding.
I don't know. I don't remember. It was the first time I worked there, so it had to be 2016, 2017. There was this critically sick kid. I forget if it was in the CTIC or in the PICU, but apparently everyone knew him. He'd been there for years, and he was just on a ventilator, trached. And I was like, okay, I was still fairly new to Children's. So I was like, okay, cool. I had this kid, and they're like, hey, he's going to pass today. I was like, oh, dealing with death and whatnot doesn't really bother me too much, just because over time you just see so much of it. Not that I'm heartless.
Yeah.
Get used to it. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm ready. I don't mind doing that. And it turns out that the parents were there and they weren't married, and they were very bothered by this. So we had to keep him alive until they could get like a chaplain to come and give him like a nice little wedding. So once we found out that they wanted to have the kids see them be married, they wanted him in the wedding, but obviously that was not going to be possible. So they're like, all right, we're going to do a bedside wedding. So once I found that out, I like ran across the ponds. I got some like a cake and like, we tried to decorate the room a little bit, give them, whatever we could, fake flowers, just kind of make it like a nice little ceremony. And I don't know, that always stuck around to me because I was like, oh man, people go to crazy lengths just to accommodate for, bad situations. So I tried to help them out and, do the nice thing and make them feel a little more comfortable with it.
Yeah, that's really amazing. And that's what really stands you also as a therapist, because
I mean, as your coworker, like I see you go above and beyond, and you know, I remember you did fundraising for coloring books and
Yeah.
art supplies, you know, which was like really, really successful. Congratulations on that. And you know, yeah, you know, you take time and you decorate like the ventilator and like you put you put the artwork there, which was like really, really nice and very touching. And you know, it's like one of those things that really, you know, it's the little things that makes a person's day, whether it's a nurse or a parent that comes in, you know, like they may not thank you enough, but you know, thank you for doing all those things. Because whenever I work and then I see your artwork posted on the ventilator, and I was like, oh, Plus was here.
Yep,
Plus was here before me. That's a little pressure.
No pressure, no pressure. No.
Yeah, so what I really, really would love to talk about is Plus after work. And I know you have a lot. That's why I mentioned your Ples of All Trades. So I would love you to tell more about our audience, you know, like what do you do on your days off?
Sadly, now that I got another full-time job, I only get 1 day off a week until December, but I still try to cram as much stuff in there as possible. My main things, it's kind of hard with COVID now. I can't do as much as I'd like, but in times we're good, I would do a lot of photography. I would DJ, and I make hot sauce pretty much, if you want to narrow it down to those three.
Yeah. And we forgot to mention that he also makes beef jerkies, and they're really, really amazing. I really love them. Yeah.
I haven't gotten to do that much lately because they started limiting how much meat we could purchase for hoarding purposes. So.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So I know you also like travel before. Like, what's your like favorite place that you've traveled?
Philippines. Come on, you know this.
Philippines?
Yes. Philippines, and then I would say Costa Rica.
Costa Rica.
Yeah.
What did you love about the Philippines? Like the food, the people, or?
All of it. I already knew I was gonna, just because working in the hospital for so long, you just meet so many Filipino people, and they're always feeding me. I think that's probably where I get inspired to do all those potlucks, just because you guys are always bringing food. So I'm like, oh, let me do that. So I figured I'd go over there, and it was just the most beautiful tropical place, super cheap. Everyone was nice to me. You know, it was awesome. I'd go back in a heartbeat.
I know you're a food guy. You're like a foodie. So what's the most exotic food that you tried?
Over there, or just in general?
Just in general. I mean, since like you travel a lot, you know, and you find like new places and things.
Let's see. In Iceland, I tried whale. That was pretty interesting.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
How was it? Was it like chewy?
It was like the best steak. If you didn't tell me it was whale, I would have thought it was a steak. Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, that's interesting.
In Japan, you have like horse meat, stuff like that. I mean, I feel like I eat so much weird stuff now. I don't think it's really weird at all. Yeah, just like funny. Especially with the jerkies, you can get a lot of like elk, deer, you know, snapping turtle, mako shark, stuff like that. So
going back to you mentioned about your hot sauce. So tell us more about it. Like, how did it come about? And was there like an aha moment that, oh my gosh, I'm going to make a hot sauce. It's going to be amazing. And I'm going to have all these flavors, you know?
I can remember growing up as a kid, my mom always cooked. She would cook 3 meals a day for, you know, as long as she was alive. So I always cooked. And then I was really picky with food. And I just hate all these store brand generics. Tapatio, Cholula's probably my favorite of the bunch, but like Sriracha, not a fan of any of that. Tabasco, so vinegary. And then I had a friend who started making hot sauce, and he told me about the Hot Sauce Expo that happens. Well, it was happening every year in Anaheim. So we went, and I tried all these companies I'd never heard of, and it just inspired me. I was like, you know what? I think I could do this. Just looking at the ingredients and doing some online research, joining some pepper forums. And then that was it. I made a couple bottles, took them to work. People liked them. They asked if I was selling them, and I was like, well, I guess I could. And then boom, just started going from there.
Yeah, and in every break room, guys, like he would put like his hot sauce for everyone to try in free, and that's how I actually first tried it. And it's really
Yeah.
amazing. It's because you do like all these like different flavors that you come up with. Like you even do like a spam flavor hot sauce. Did you remember that?
Yeah, that was for
Yes.
that was a Hawaiian holiday. We always do a
Yeah.
spam festival every year.
Yeah, that was really amazing. And you do it with papaya, with maple syrup. So you just really try to experiment and just like be creative with what you can come up like with a hot sauce. So walking through the process, like does anyone help you do or do you do it by yourself? Like
I try to get help because
mhm.
literally chopping, like the amount that I make it takes me probably at least 4 to 5 hours of literally just prep work and chopping,
Wow.
de-seeding, stemming, cleaning. So I'll try to see if someone wants to come over, but it's usually not a fun process because your hands are tired from chopping, and then once I start cooking or like smoking the peppers, the fumes just get really bad. You have to sometimes I'll wear like a gas mask if I'm dealing with like
Oh
reapers and
wow.
scorpions and stuff. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
that's
not a fun
really
it's not
interesting.
fun.
Yeah. It's like
But
it's not really glamorous as what people think.
no,
Making the
yeah.
hot sauce.
That's why they'll come over once and they're like, "Oh, I want to do it." And I'm like, "All right, cool." And then they'll do it once and they're like, "I can't do that again." I'm like, "I appreciate the
and
help. Do it once."
and you've been doing it for a while because people keep on requesting it and
Yeah,
they want to try new flavors and whatnot. So yeah, it's really fun to see to see you sell it at work and to sell it online. We'll actually put the link and the social media stuff where you guys can buy Ples's hot sauce. I remember the other day I was talking to you. I mean, we were texting, and then the next day you were like, "Oh, I'm still making hot sauce." So it was like literally an overnight thing, and I was like, "Wow, this is really, really serious business."
yeah. I'd gotten some ingredients. It took me forever looking for Szechuan peppercorn, which is stupid. You can't find that stuff anywhere.
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
I realized it wasn't gonna make enough bottles, so I had to cook all that. So I slow cooked it for like 8 hours until the sun came up, and then I had to run to the store buy more tomatoes and onions just to kind of like make a bigger batch. I think I got like 50 bottles.
Nice. What would be your dream, like, you're selling it online, you're selling it on social media, but what will be like your dream, like, oh, I'm selling it in this, or certain celebrity is, you want to give to,
As far as the hot
something
sauce,
like,
I
mm-hmm.
would like to take it in more of a business direction, I guess, instead of just like a freelance thing. I'd like to get like farmers markets. I'm trying to hit up some people on Instagram just to see if I can give it away. But I'm
Right.
sure with some of these celebrities on Instagram, it's so hard to get a hold of them. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll see what happens.
Nice.
We'll see.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I'm just having fun with it. It's just a little side thing to do because I like staying busy. I don't like sitting at home not doing anything. So even though I only have one day off, like I'll still pack it in. Like when I had Monday off, I did a photo shoot and the hot sauce all night.
Nice, nice. I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. So you have so many things going on, like besides respiratory. Um, if you get to pick one career, like side hustle that you want to turn into a career, what would it be? And
DJ,
like why?
100%.
DJing? Really? I would think that you would say hot sauce because you were like, oh, I'm trying to do it as business and
No, that's actual work. DJing's like, I mean, I'm not saying DJing's not work, but that's fun. Like that's fun practicing, always going to some party people want you to play. I've played like Hawaii once. I played Vegas a couple times, so I definitely
wow.
just it would be ideally it would be cool to just travel the world and just get to play and meet a bunch of people and try new foods because that makes us traveling with the DJing. So it's like two
Right, right,
and then I could
right,
try out hot
right.
sauce all over the world. Yeah,
And sell hot sauce in between, put it on your suitcase.
yeah. But
Yeah.
it's a little harder to do that. You gotta do a lot more work and behind the scenes work and
Mm-hmm.
kiss butt.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, hard work comes, through success. So, we'll see what the future holds. You're a very hardworking person and you have like a lot of passion in what you put into. So I wouldn't be surprised if somehow you'll be able to, insert that as your full-time career and just, work as a therapist, maybe like a part-time or a per diem. So
yeah, I would never stop being an RT. I know a lot of people are leaving or
Mhm.
they're trying to go to nursing or perfusion or who knows what, a PA school, but no,
Mhm.
I'm super happy at children's in the cardiac unit. So I'm gonna stay there quite a while until I get sick of it.
Touche. So I'm gonna let you go because I know you gotta go to work. Thank you so much for your time. Do you want to do a little
No,
shout
thank
out
you.
of the name of your hot sauce and where to find you and whatnot?
For the hot sauce, it's just Mr. Molotov hot sauce. Working on the website, but on Instagram or Facebook, you could just type that in, all one word, and it'll pop up. That's basically it. Just kind of
Nice. Nice. And if you also go to his Instagram, you can also see him like his life, beyond as a respiratory therapist. Like he DJs, like he would promote like where he would go and whatnot. So I know like during the pandemic it's pretty hard, but this will pass. So sometime in the future, like if you guys want to, follow him and listen, and I know you also have music online. So
Yeah, I have music on my
Mhm.
SoundCloud. I'll send you the link for that and
Yeah,
stuff.
definitely, definitely. So thank you so much, Ples. Happy Respiratory Care Week.
Thank you.
Uh,
Happy Respiratory Care Week.
yes. Okay. So yeah. So this concludes our interview. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
So until next time. Bye.
yeah. See you later. First episode.